let's go ahead and get started. Want to get a little energy in the room? Can I get a
I think that was more for you than it was for us.
Hey. So I am super excited to be up here today to introduce not only our speakers, but also our brokerage, EXP, and then our team, Team Limitless. Team Limitless is our organization of people that we've brought into the brokerage. And the reason why I'm so excited about it and passionate is because I have my own story getting here. My mom said I should tell my story. That I grew up in real estate. My parents were always investors since I can remember. And I remember telling my mom when I was little that, you know what, I am never ever going to sit at a desk all day. And she looked at me and just laughed. And then I went on to get my master's degree in accounting and I became a tax accountant. So I ended up right at that desk. But I did find my way back to real estate. Actually, in my early 20s, we bought our first property and we went on to by the time I was 27, we had 3. And we've bought multiple properties over the years. We have 2 rentals. But why I'm so excited about EXP is the opportunity that it creates for people. And that's when I decided to get my license, is when I saw the opportunity and I saw the things that the brokerage was providing to agents to create a better agent experience. And that's what not only the brokerage provides, but also us as Team Limitless. And so I'm going to introduce our speakers. We have Jeff Marchant over here, Erock Jones over here. And both of them have been in the real estate industry for over 20 years. So they have a ton of credibility. In fact, most of the people on our team think that they're the brokers of EXP. They come to them with all the questions and they're happy to answer. They're happy to answer their phone and spend that time. You can also see that they're both in business with their wives, Lynn and Michelle, right here. And I could tell you a lot of the different things that they've done over the years and why they're so credible, but what is most important to me is how much they care about their people, how many hours they put in, how much I've seen them working at this conference table, putting in time so that they can, create that better agent experience. And also they're super passionate about our brokerage, and that's what they're going to be telling you about today.
What's your
Oh, yeah.
Go. I was just saying, isn't that your slide?
Yeah.
No, awesome. Thanks, actually. Introductions are kind of cool when somebody else does it. Because you've never seen that about you. But I can hear it, but still. So awesome. I was joking actually about this slide because that was going to be our transition there. I'm going to go first, and Erock and I are going to kind of pass this back and forth. But Ashley obviously just did the first one there. We're going to talk about, who is EXP and why is our model working? How does EXP support their agents and why it's Limitless, which actually explained what that means for us and our organization. So those are the things we're going to go over. And I'm going to just start with some of the accolades and the positioning that EXP has right now compared to maybe old-fashioned models of brokerages. We're going to talk a little bit about that. There's a lot of brokerages that are suffering right now. EXP is super profitable. They're investing in other companies, which you're not seeing a lot of. You see, when you're seeing the cutbacks, you're not seeing brokerages acquire other companies that the agents get to participate in. So we're constantly growing. In fact, we've got over $130 million in the bank. We were the first cloud-based brokerage. That's huge. It's good to be first. You kind of get a head start, right? We figured out what works and we've implemented tools and systems and platforms and everything that have made our growth and our trajectory that we're going to talk about just really excel. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is that last thing on this slide that you see, that not only is EXP profitable, where a lot of brokerages aren't right now. They're losing money per transaction. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. But they gave back $204 million to their agents last year. And they were still profitable. So think about that correlation though. Some brokerages that aren't really showing a bottom line net profit, and they're not sharing $204 million back with their agents. Something's way out of balance there, right? Yeah. So here's another slide that's going to kind of show that in comparison to some other publicly traded companies, you can see EXP on top there is showing a profit per transaction. Let me move this out for us. Per transaction. sadly enough, you look down there, like say Compass is just as an example, they're losing $1,900 per transaction that they're closing right now. So when you look at transaction count and volume count, you don't want to be in the position of like, oh shit, we've got another one. We're losing more money because that really affects the bottom line. And ironically enough, I was just showing, well, I don't need to go there. I was going to make a negative spin on something that I don't need to really do right now. So anyway, I'm just pointing out that we're really excited to be here, and I almost feel guilty that I'm not sharing it more. And that's why we're doing this right now. That's why Erock and I have teamed up. We both came to EXP at the same time in 2019, and we talk about all the time. It's like we're at a place that really does have so many great things going on that I do feel guilty about not sharing it more. So we're going to do more of that. And I ask you guys that are at different brokerages, do you look at the model or the brokerage that you're at and feel so good about it and the opportunity that's creating for yourself that you feel guilty about not sharing with other people? I mean, it's something to consider, because you don't know what you don't know. So those of you that are investigating, looking and saying, well, what is EXP all about? I commend you for being here, because you have to like make effort to see, well, what else is available? If you look back 5 years and you're in the same position or worse than you were 5 years ago, you have to now contemplate and look forward. What are the next 5 years going to be like? Okay.
Remind me which Anywhere is. I can never remember which brokerages those are.
Anywhere. Did you guys know it's kind of a new name for some people, because it used to be Relogy. Relogy changed to Anywhere, which whose brainchild that one was.
What did you choose to?
Anywhere.
I didn't even know.
Right? I didn't know. That doesn't make any sense. But Anywhere is a compilation of brokerages: Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Better Homes and Gardens, Sotheby's. They're brands within the umbrella of Anywhere. So some of these other franchise model companies you see are owned by Anywhere. It could be.
The parent company is Anywhere.
Used to be Relogy.
Yeah, it used to be Relogy.
Parent company.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I clicked on that. So those are just some of the highlights. I mean, you look up the Real Trends report, and EXP is the #1 rated independent brokerage. They're the top mover in number of transactions. They're #2 in top mover in volume. So we've really got some great growth going on. And now I'm going to kind of turn it over to Erock, and he's going to kind of go into why we're positioned the way that we are.
Which is 25.
Yeah, this is really
Just a short period of time. So thanks, Jeff. First of all, I want to let everyone know that I appreciate Jeff sharing EXP with me, because it changed my life and how I view real estate. So thank you. Keep that in mind as you share, that somebody's going to be really grateful that you changed their life. But so I looked at EXP when I first looked at it, and this is the first time I actually made a switch to a brokerage on purpose. Like before, it was Realty executives went out of business. I guess I better find a new place to hang a license. So that was my first brokerage in 2003, and then 2009 I had to find a home. So I just hung my license somewhere and ended up staying there until Jeff called me up about EXP and said, "Hey, I am thinking about leaving Keller Williams, and you've been with it 10 years. Will you just poke some holes in this and tell me what I'm missing?" And he said EXP, and I'm like, I've never heard of EXP, but so I went and looked at it, and I was shocked. And I said, if he doesn't go, I'm going to go. So when I decided to go to EXP, it's the first time I made the choice to make a brokerage change in 20 years. There was actually 16 at the time. But for me, what I saw was with my previous brokerage, I knew I'd never be an owner. I would never have any revenue share, because you close 5 transactions in a month. Your broker doesn't call you up and say, "Hey, you did awesome. Do you want to be an owner? Do you want a little piece of this?" Or, it just doesn't happen because they own it. So I looked at the model and I said, I want to be a part of it. But what I didn't understand is what I'm going to show you guys right now. So I really had no idea why EXP was so different. And it's really become relevant in the last year, because as the market has slowed down, we have seen how much more powerful EXP has become in the last year. So what we're going to talk about right here, this is actually the old-fashioned model. And up there you can see it's a franchise model. We call it an old-fashioned model. Because in 1906, sorry, I'm looking here.
We talked about this. How often do you guys are on Zoom?
Yeah, it's the screen you're looking at. So this is called the franchise model. It's actually started, well, the first company that did it was Coldwell Banker in 1906. They were the originators of this kind of top-down type of model. But then Century 21 in the 70s introduced a franchise model. It said, let's make a franchise out of it. So what is this exactly? You see the international. This is actually investors that get together and they say, hey, let's create a franchise model for a brokerage across the country. Sometimes it's a bunch of investors. Sometimes it's one, like Gary Keller. He owns Keller Williams. He is the international investor. And what they do is they go divide the country in different sections and they sell regions to other investors. And then those regions go look for franchise broker owners. And then they sell a franchise to a broker owner that says, yeah, I want to start basically a little franchise in my city. And what's interesting about this is the franchise broker owner, these guys, I have a lot of respect for because they're the ones that sign the lease, they get, second mortgages on their house. They have to spend $250,000 to launch a franchise, sign these big leases. And if they don't make money, it's a huge problem for them. So the franchise, once they find the franchise, guess who they hire?
Us.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
They hire team leaders, recruiters, and staff to put this whole office together. And guess what? So you got all these, you got international, you got investors, you got regional, you got franchise owners, you got staff, and you got recruiters and team leaders, and you still, guess what you don't have?
Agents.
Revenue. No revenue. Like nobody's done anything yet. Right? So then they go get the agents. And what's really interesting about this is 100% of the revenue that feeds this beast has to come from the agents. They're the ones that sell the houses. So each one of these gets paid every time a real estate, home is sold. So what's interesting, I love when an agent says, hey, what split are you on it? And they tell me, oh, I'm on 70-30, right? Well, actually, I have a 6-7% franchise fee. So it's kind of like a second, like an offhanded thing, like it doesn't even count, but really it does. So you're really like on a 64, carry one, whatever. And they don't calculate almost like, because, well, everybody has that. Everyone has to pay that. So it doesn't count, but it does count. So the owner is international. They're the ones that get that 6 or 7%. They're the billionaires, right? Because they're the revenue. They're getting revenue share on every single house that's sold. So that's where you want to be at the top. Anybody notice what this kind of looks like? Maybe a pyramid, right? Look at that. It's a pyramid. This has been around for 100 years. But what's crazy is the agents aren't even in the pyramid. We're not even invited in, right? Because we're not owners. Everyone else on this owns something, but we don't as agents. So this is the old-fashioned model, been around forever. And it might look a little familiar to you. I don't know if you've noticed any of these companies, but these are kind of old-fashioned companies too, like Blockbuster, JCPenney's, Best Western, Taxi, that have been replaced or are in competition with some of these old-fashioned, companies. I think JCPenney's is still in business. Yeah. JCPenney's is in business. But this is just a different way of doing business. Now, if you look at Uber, Netflix, Airbnb, Amazon, all of these, you can kind of go back and say, it's about 15 years ago. Most of these companies launched about 15 years ago when internet started becoming more relevant, right? So what our founder, Glenn Sanford, who actually was with Keller Williams, he said, there's got to be a better way to make this model work better. So what he said was, let's take what other companies are doing that are growing, like these Ubers and just Netflix and all these companies that are online, and change the model completely in real estate. And it's completely revolutionized how real estate is done. And I'm kind of slow. It took me a while to figure this part out. Because I saw, I own a piece, right? But I didn't really understand this till later, the brilliance of it. So what Glenn Sanford said was, instead of doing this, let's get rid of the international, the regional, the franchise owners, the team leaders, all of that, because it's all expenses. We're gonna get rid of it, cancel it, and save. So they're saving a ton of money, EXP. So he said, well, let's put the agents on top instead of the bottom. And let's make them owners and give them revenue share instead. So that's the part that attracted me, but what I didn't understand is how it really worked. So EXP runs their entire company on 10%. So that means 90% of everything that they receive in commissions from the agents goes back to the agents in commission, revenue share, or stock ownership, which has never been done before. First cloud brokers, and it works because we're on the cloud. So what has it done in the last 5 years? So when the market was good, everybody's making money. Even franchise owners, they're making money. They're paying all these big expensive bills. They're still making money. Well, in the last year, it's changed a little bit for some of those brokers that we just saw that are losing money on every transaction. But this is what's happened. This is just one example. This is Keller Williams. Say 2018, they had 171,000 agents. And then 2022, they grew by 3,000. There were 174,000 agents. Look what EXP has done in that same time frame. Pretty much 5 times the growth. And we're actually closer to 89,000 agents now. But the reason that this is happening is because EXP is offering something that's never been offered before. Agents have ownership, they have revenue share, and a lot of those agents came from Keller Williams to EXP, of course, other brokerages as well. And this is why we're the fastest growing brokerage in history, because they're offering things that others. And some of those companies from that first slide that are unprofitable, they've actually paid agents to come over, top producers, they'll pay them, have them sign an agreement and say, hey, you stay with us for 2 years, we're going to give you this bonus. And they're actually losing money. EXP, nobody has any other split, but 80-20. It's an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. Everyone's the same, no matter who you are. Nobody gets extra stock because you sold 100 homes last year. Nobody gets extra revenue share. We all have the same opportunity with EXP, which is a huge reason why they've grown so much.
Awesome. Hey, we're not picking on Keller Williams, by the way. That's where I was for 10 years before I moved here. This is a really good comparison because taking the end of 2018 to the end of 2022, that's kind of like my journey, right? Because I joined EXP the very first part of Q1 of 2019. So it's just kind of an interesting comparison as we've seen this group. Didn't Eric do a good job?
Yes, he did. I'm really excited. I'm ready to start.
No, I mean, obviously, I can feel your passion for a reason, and we're happy where we're at, and that was a really good explanation. So, how does EXP support all our agents? This kind of shows a model that everybody wishes they had, right? They want some tremendous support from their brokerage and the agents in their brokerage, right? They want training, they want tools, but they also, whether they know it or not, you know, are either wanting it, have it, or wish they had ownership and share in the revenue. Eric talked about all those other models that it's not an option. And so it's really exciting to have this collage of benefits here at EXP. So let's talk a little bit about the support. We use a platform called Virbela. Virbela is a 3D virtual world where all the staff resides. That's where our trainings take place. EXP started out as a client of theirs and became their largest client and actually acquired the company. So this is a EXP World Holdings platform, and other businesses and government agencies and educational departments are on it because it's a great learning platform. This is actually Ashley's avatar. She took some screenshots for me there, just going into EXP World, we call it. And you can go right into the brokerage operations room, have a conversation with your transaction people, admin, your brokers within minutes.
It's super slick.
It's super slick. I walk in there sometimes and their little avatars are hanging out there and they, hi Jeff. And yes, my avatar looks just like but it's really slick. There's self-help rooms, there's the video training archives, but the point is everything we need is housed right in there. And one of the things they do in a stellar fashion in EXP World is the training. There's easily 80 hours plus of live training every week. Live training is important because you get to participate, you get to collaborate. You're not watching a video and kind of doing something else on the side, kind of like hoping some of it sinks into your subconscious. You're actually attending a live class. You get to raise your hand, you get to ask questions, you get to participate in discussion and really kind of pick your agenda on what you're going to participate in there. Another great thing we have here in Utah, and other states have their own brokerage operations, is they do state specific MLS, our boards, training on our contracts. We have team meetings. You can see she's got Mondays kind of mapped out to consolidate all of that training, transaction support and training, and just broker huddles and stuff. So the Utah State does a tremendous job at that. And then Erock and I, as Team Limitless, we like to even offer more. And so we have masterminds on Mondays. We do trainings on this day. Wednesday is when we're doing this. The alternate weeks are going to be bringing in a professional that's going to teach you how to increase your skill, do more business, better serve your clients. And we've had a tremendous lineup of trainers for that. And then on Thursday, we also get together. That's showing on there, Bill Pipe 7-figure selling. We actually purchased a training course, coaching program for our team. And they can plug into that every Thursday until that wraps up. And then we do our own, just kind of like we call it Thrive Thursdays, as we focus on growth and attraction and team building. So I'll let Erock kind of jump in here and talk about the tools that we have.
This we could talk about for hours, but we're only going to spend just a couple minutes on it because, you know, even if, you know, you weren't interested in any stock or you didn't want revenue share for some reason, and all you wanted to do is sell more real estate, EXP, like we said, with this savings and the fact that they're actually profitable, they're adding more and more tools to EXP to help their agents sell more real estate, because we are a real estate brokerage first, and our job is to sell real estate, and they want us to be the highest producing agency on the planet. So some of these are just examples, like KV Core, it's a $500 program, lead gen, website, CRM, everything incorporated. We get that for free, included with EXP. We also get Chime, also a $500 platform. We get it for $40 a month. I'm using Realty.com to generate leads, for example, and it's over half off of what any other brokerage would get. And that's because of the arrangements that EXP is investing with their agents. Express Offers is a cash offer. So if you have somebody that says, hey, I just need to get cash quick, you can actually get that home sold quickly with a cash offer, and you'll even get the listing when they put it back on the market. It's awesome. This is probably my favorite part of our lead generation. This is all under the umbrella of EXP Revenues. And I don't use all of these. Like, it's too much, I think, to do everything. So you can pick 2 or 3 of them that you really want to focus on. But just to give you a little heads up on kind of a little bit on each one, EXP Relocation, it's a relocation division of EXP. And we just found out recently that EXP is now working with every single major relocation company in the country. Like, they have all of them. And it's because EXP's network is so good. We've done some transactions with Relocation, and it's just a free lead and you pay a referral fee. It's awesome. We have REO, which is bank owned, obviously. Affinity is just straight lead generation that we get leads from. Same with the military rewards, Express Offers I just talked about. Bundle Select is actually being released any moment, hasn't even been launched yet. And I think this is one of the biggest game changers I've ever seen in real estate. Just 20 seconds on that. It's basically, if you know an HR person of a company, let's say they have 1,000 employees, you can sign them up with Bundle Select, and it's 0 cost for the employer, 0 cost for the employee, and your client that works for that company will get thousands and thousands of dollars of discounts when they close with you. It's incredible. So you can take your SOI from 200 to 1,200 with one company. And if they have employees out of state, and they'll find an EXP agent, close that deal, and send you a referral fee just because you're the one that signed up that company with Bundle Select, and you are the exclusive EXP agent with Bundle Select. Incredible. I mean, that's, if you want to sell more business, you could just do one of those and it's gonna be incredible.
Hey, one other thing to add on
Yeah.
to Bundle Select is, they were penning a deal with Bundle Select. They've been around since 2017. There's already 8 million employees on the platform through their employers. And EXP, of course, wanted to be the exclusive real estate brokerage for Bundle Select. And so they worked out that deal, but in the process of doing that, they said, you know what, we could do this even better, so they bought the whole damn company. So now it's EXP Bundle Select, and they're in the process of rebranding. I don't know if you sensed the frustration in Eric's voice like I did. He said they're gonna launch it any day. He says the platform is to be released any day, and he already has companies committed through him to sign up for Bundle Select as employers that can offer this benefit to all their employees. So we're
Just to
excited.
give you an example on that, I've already personally reserved eBay and Vivint.
Oh,
So when I sign them up for Bundle Select, everyone in the company will be working with me
You're
or an
gonna need
agent
some-
in their area.
you're gonna need
That's
some
pretty
buying
incredible.
agents. You're
That's,
gonna need some more agents.
it's an
out there.
awesome opportunity. And Bundle Select already has, before EXP acquired them, Adobe, Salesforce, Visa, Microsoft. So there's some major companies that Bundle Select has. If that's all you did with EXP, I mean, you could absolutely kill it with that one piece. So enough about that. We can talk about all those at any time, but they're all fantastic programs. And we're not going to touch on any of these because these are all just tools and affiliates that EXP has. You get these for either free or a discount for being with EXP. This one was just released just recently, and it's one of my favorites. It's EXP Luxury. And if you are a luxury agent or ever want to be in a luxury agent, this is going to dominate the space because EXP has been working into luxury. You know, we know some luxury brands out there, we're familiar with them, but EXP, when they launched, they wanted to make sure that they were better and above everyone else before they launched. So they made arrangements with Barron's, Robb Report, the Wall Street Journal, Market Watch. So when you list a home with EXP Luxury, your listing will go on their website as a featured listing. Think about that. So if you're on let's say you're on a listing appointment, and let's say Berkshire Hathaway came in right before you. And they're like, yeah, we got one more agent we're gonna look at. And you drop EXP Luxury, and you say, you're gonna have your homes on all of these websites on their listing when people do searches. Plus, EXP Luxury advertises in 80 countries. And you actually, as a listing, as a home seller, you get a full printout digital where you can click and see your tour on all of these places and around the world. No one can compete with that. No one has that. So if you want to be an EXP Luxury agent, it's like the easiest presentation ever because no one has those tools. That's part of what EXP is doing, is reinvesting in their agents, right?
The other thing is that you get to collaborate with other luxury agents
Mhm.
that have been in the field for a very long time, like you and Jeff have.
Yeah. And it's powerful. And then when you think about a luxury, they consider luxury in like our area, 800 to $1 million and above. Think how many homes are $1 million and above in our area. So you can actually post as many as 10 listings at a time. So if you have 9, you put 10 up there and then one sells, and now you're back to 9, you can add another one. So you can have 10 listings at all times on EXP Luxury. EXP Commercial, we'll touch on that for just a second. We have a full commercial division. They have the best tools, but probably what jumps out to me most about commercial is they actually have a $20,000 cap. And if you know anything about commercial, most commercial agents are just used to the fact that if they earn $1 million commission one year and they're on an 80-20 split, for example, they're going to pay $200,000 to the brokerage. There is no cap. EXP says, we're going to put a $20,000 cap on it, period. So you're 100% after that. That could be one transaction for a commercial agent. So this is that's a big deal for if you know commercial agents. They probably don't know about it. The last thing I'll cover on this is we also have health insurance. This is a crazy stat. 28 to 33% of realtors are uninsured any given year. And we have massive discounts through Clearwater that help agents save on their health insurance. So if that's a concern of any agents, there's some agents that are saving $8,000 or $10,000 a year on what they did last year, practically covers their cap in EXP just because of that.
Awesome, thanks, Eric. So now let's talk about, we mentioned it a couple of times, how EXP agents are all owners in the company. There's 5 ways that you get to earn stock and ownership in this company. The first one's really easy, is if you come over to EXP and you do a transaction, they're gonna award you or gift you a couple $100 worth of stock. You're automatically now an owner in the company, right? The really cool thing is when you cap, they give you another reward or a bonus and say, hey, congratulations, you're now 100%, but we're gonna give you $400 more in stock. Pretty awesome. I sponsored Eric in EXP. You mentioned that earlier. I was coming over. I called him. He decided to come over. So he got some stock when he did his first transaction. He got a couple $100 worth of stock, but you know, they gave me $400 worth of stock when he did his first transaction because I'm helping the company grow. So there's another reward. The thing about rewards and these gifts that they're giving, that's really kind of brilliant, really, is they have to vest for 3 years before you can actually have access to them. So you got your little back office and you get to track your shares, and then you can, you know, go on Yahoo and see what the stock price is and all this stuff, but you can't touch them for 3 years, which is kind of cool because I'll explain the Icon Agent Award next and how that's kind of impacted our stock portfolio. Is they literally, if you cap and reach your, like Eric mentioned before, 80-20 split, we cap at $16,000. Once you cap, if you do 20 more transactions, you're eligible to get the entire $16,000 back in the form of ownership in the company and stock. What's cool about that is that vesting period, because our first stock award, because they give it to you in a couple of different segments. We were awarded our Icon cap back between $6 and $8 a share. Today it's trading up and down around low $20 per share, but it's split since then. So our first Icon award is 5 times the value of what they actually gave it back to us at.
And you could sell it if you wanted.
Pretty awesome, and it's vested because you've been here for 4 years. So that's really awesome. The other thing that any agent that's at EXP should just set on autopilot is investing 5% of your commissions into purchasing the company stock at a 10% discount. We're publicly traded on NASDAQ. You can't just go get a coupon for stock and say, oh, I got a 10% off on this one, I'm going to go exercise that. But no matter what your commissions are, you can invest 5% of it, and they're going to make that purchase for you and put in your stock portfolio. So that's pretty awesome. And that's why we're excited to be owners. We're actually working towards something. Give you a correlation again. I'm going to go back to Keller Williams because I was there for 10 years. During those 10 years, I get my cap every year. At Keller Williams, the cap wasn't 16,000, it was 18,000. And it varies depending on the region you're in or whatever. So over that 10-year period, I paid $180,000 to Keller Williams, which they needed. Eric showed you the model. They needed to pay everybody, and profit had to go to the top, and they got buildings and leases and all this kind of stuff. That's great. No expectation of getting it back like I did here at EXP, right? So when I left, I took nothing with me. But I already have way more than that total amount over those 10 years in ownership at EXP in the 4 years I've been here. So it's pretty amazing, right? I mean, I'm just doing what I was doing there and being compensated differently by doing it here, if that makes sense.
So EXP gave you all of your fees back that Keller Williams charged you.
Pretty much. Yeah, they reimbursed me the money I gave Keller Williams. And then some. So that's pretty awesome. The other thing that we have here is, I'm going to use an example to explain rev share to you guys. Okay, so let's compare it to your retirement plan. If you haven't seen this presentation before, and you want to take a guess at what these numbers mean, anybody that hasn't seen this before, even online? Hi guys, I see you down there still.
What do these numbers mean?
If we don't answer the question, you're gonna explain it to us.
Yeah, if we're quiet long enough, we're gonna find out, is what that means. Good, Mark. So, let me go through this. And again, I'm gonna make the comparison. This is the old fashioned way. If you're planning for retirement and you're able to save $900,000 after taxes, you can, you can pull out 4% a year in retirement. And that's what a financial analysis or what's the planner is going to tell you is like, hey, if you take out more than that, it might not last. So 4% is kind of a safe number that the consensus say if you pull that out each year, then you can make that last through retirement. So that's $36,000 a year or $3,000 a month. That's pretty good supplemental income, depending on where you live, that could pay a mortgage, could pay your car payment. Some markets, that's not a lot of money, but consider if it was, it's residual, it's coming in from your investment dollars. Do all of you have $900,000 saved so far? Guess what? I was looking it up because our friend Gene is the one that does this presentation. I learned this from him. And so I looked up and only 8.8% of Americans are millionaire status, including all assets, including the equity in their home, which is a big chunk of most people's net worth, right? But you can't live off the equity in your home. So we're talking about investment dollars that are kicking off a return that you could live off of. So that's one plan, and that could take however many years. You set your goals. Hopefully you're on a strategy and a trajectory to accomplish whatever your goals are. Well, here at EXP, we have another option. So you can do that, or we kind of call this a 2-year plan in your mind, whether it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever makes sense to you. But let's just go with a 2-year plan to reach something similar in this type of a cash flow. So we're talking about revenue share. I already mentioned that I sponsored Erock because basically he decided to come to EXP because of me. So yep, you're responsible for why I'm here. I became a sponsor. So in this example, let's just say in those 2 years, you could get 6 people like I got Erock to come to EXP, look at the model like we're explaining to you right now and say, that makes sense to me. I think I'm going to hang my license at EXP. That's 3 a year. That's doable. With a minimal effort, right? If you want to. So cappers, as we've mentioned, pay EXP $16,000 and then they go 100% commission. They have a small transaction fee. But after that $16,000 goes to EXP, how much of it would you guess, if you don't already know, if you're actually taking a guess, that is shared back with you because you helped the company grow? Mark's answer is quiet long enough, and he's going to tell me. Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's $2,800. So EXP is gonna share $2,800 of the $16,000 that they collected back with you. So those 6 agents are worth $16,800 a year. Now, those agents, let's just assume that they are going to also have a friend come with them. Let's just say 1 in those 2 years comes with those 6. So you got a total of 12 agents right there. Oops, did you see that review?
Oh, I did. I didn't see that.
I was supposed to ask another question with a long awkward pause before I should give the answer. So typically, if I'm asking somebody that doesn't know, how much you think EXP would share back with you, somebody that's on your 2nd tier. Now, these are people like that Erock brought in. I had nothing to do with it. It's like Erock knew somebody else and they came in because of Erock. They're on my 2nd tier. Most people gets about half. You get $2,800. Probably $1,400 on the tier 2, but it's actually more, as Shane has said, and I clicked my button. It's $3,200. So if you have those 6 people on tier 2, that's $19,200 for 12 agents equals $36,000 a year, $3,000 a month. Looking at those 2 plans, which one do you think is probably easier to accomplish? And that you could actually set some real goals for. And the cool thing is I can help somebody else accomplish those goals too by supporting them. But let's also point out that there's a tier 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, so that could change dramatically. So we're just using a simple example on a half a dozen people. Maybe it's 2 years, 3 years, whatever. You can obtain some resemblance of residual income off somebody else's address. We all want leverage.
That's 12 agents.
That's 12 agents.
Oh, that's pretty amazing.
So let me give you a couple of examples of actual agents back office. This agent has more than 12. They have 521 people in their group because people told people who told people, and that grew. So that's a monthly revenue share for this agent right here by helping the company grow. And I'd probably be willing to bet he doesn't know most of those agents because they're somebody knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, and they're here at EXP. And he's benefiting because the company is growing from what he started. Okay, here's somebody that has a little bit more of a substantial revenue share because they have 5,300 people in their revenue share. So the top agents in the company right now are topping 20,000 agents in their group, so you can kind of see what their numbers might look like. Not everybody does this. want to make it clear that EXP is about selling real estate, like Eric said, we're transaction based. I think something like 88% of all agents at EXP are just selling real estate. Most of them aren't doing this. It's an option. It's something that you can pursue if you want to, and which I do. So we're sharing it with you guys as an option to create some wealth, create some retirement. My example to this is Lynn and I building a real estate portfolio. That was hard. You know, we built a pretty handsome real estate portfolio, but it's a lot of work. She still self-manages these rental properties, but it provides us a very nice lifestyle right now because we sacrificed for decades to get to where we are now. This is something that doesn't take that same effort.
And for clarification, that like in this example, 304,000 in 1 month, that has nothing to do with commission on real estate they're selling or stock ownership they're receiving. That's 100% revenue share only.
Yeah, those are all separate. Your buys, your sells, your transactions are one thing. That's what most agents do, right? A lot of agents don't have ownership in their brokerages. That's something completely separate that I explained on the previous slide. How you can just get rewarded ownership, or you can participate in purchasing that at a discount. And then there's a completely separate option. So I put another slide in here for you to kind of look at your goals, where you're at your age, and when are you going to be able to slow down? When are you going to be able to finally enjoy time freedom, location freedom, and do the things that you want to do? What's that dollar amount that would have to be coming in from other people's efforts or from your rental properties, whatever? This is kind of a good comparison like that, from your retirement, whatever your retirement might be. What's that monthly goal? I was talking to Ashley about this before we started today's class, because I had a goal when I was in my early 20s. And I'd set a lot of goals. I'm a newlywed. We were pregnant with Ashley. And we're like, oh my gosh, where are we going? Back then, I was like, man, if I could just have $10,000 a month, I could live pretty high, right? I mean, I could cover a mortgage, I could vacation, I could cover my expenses. I have discretionary income. But that was in 1991. You think that $10,000 would buy me the same stuff today, the same time freedom today? Good example is during that time period, I bought my first property for $48,500. A beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-bath townhome down by BYU in Provo, and we still own it today. $48,500. So correlate that with my goal of having $10,000 a month in cash flow, and realizing that comes with over $400,000 now. So we don't get as much for our dollar. So if you're setting a goal for 10, 20 years out and you're picking a number, don't pick today's number. Pick a number of what it's going to be in spending value then. It's going to be a lot higher. So that $10,000 on that left column there in today's is likely closer to $50,000 spending value. So something to just think about, and also think, well, if that's what I want, what's my plan to get there? Do you have a plan? Do you have a strategy? Do you know? With real estate, for me, it was predictable. I knew if I bought this much real estate, eventually someday it's going to be paid off by somebody else's effort that lives in the property. It's just going to happen. All I got to do is keep it rented and maintained. Predictable. Okay. We're giving you another predictable model to do something like this. How many lives do you want to influence and impact and share something like this with that could now create a strategy for their retirement?
Nice. So, in the past, since we joined EXP, let's see, when we joined EXP, we were in the United States and half of Canada. And something pretty amazing happened just a couple of years ago. The president of global growth of Realty that we already talked about, that's now Anywhere, actually came to EXP, and he was the one that helped that company grow internationally. And since he's come on, Michael Valdez is his name, we are now in 24 countries instead of 1.5, just in the last few years, which is huge for our growth. Now, any other brokerage, if you're looking at this, you're like, well, yeah, who cares? Right? But for us, if we have an agent that we've attracted, let's say in West Jordan, and they went on a mission in Brazil, and they know someone in Brazil, and they know someone in South Africa, you can actually have a revenue share team that's all over the world. And every single one of these countries, our states, they all have their own brokerages. So our responsibility is to just share what EXP is doing and what they offer, and we can have revenue share grow around the world. And the team at EXP is incredible. They want to talk to you if you know somebody in another country. I'm working with the Vice President of Growth right now, and we are working on opening a country in the APAC that I am really excited about. I won't tell you which country, but there's 280 million people in there. So it's a big deal. So I'm excited about that because we'll be the first one to go into that country on my team, which is pretty awesome. And to give you an example of what that actually means is a year ago, I met the agent that was the first one to open South Africa. He's the one that brought into South Africa. Yeah, I know somebody that's good in South Africa. So EXP started working on opening South Africa. And he was from the United States, actually. He wasn't from South Africa. So South Africa just hit 1,000 agents. And guess what? Not all of those 1,000 are in his group. But guess how many he has in his group? 2,000. So what that means is he didn't get all of South Africa, but some of those in South Africa went to other countries and have grown his group bigger. Pretty incredible. So the right conversation can change your life forever. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and some of you probably have had those kind of conversations, but you didn't have any place to take it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of cool learning this kind of stuff and seeing what can be done. So we're gonna just point out a couple things we do here at Team Limitless. We try and we got a little family going here, especially locally. We like to get together and we like to have fun, and we do events. One thing that we really try and do is help educate the agents, right? So there's so much training available through EXP. You don't need this, but sometimes that personal touch, like meeting Corey in person and coming in here and creating a relationship and a bond, to me is deeper. And as you can see on there, those little circles on some of those cover sheets are CE. It says CE credit. So we do a lot of CE classes on here. We got to renew our license every 2 years, right? We got 18 hours required. When I went and renewed my license last, I think I had well over 40 hours of CE credit from just what I hosted here at the office. So that was kind of cool.
And we do these classes every single, this exact time, Wednesday at 11. This is actually the first overview we've done in, I don't know, a year. So yeah, usually this is a outside.
So we took the time slot though, because it was already a reoccurring thing. And for a long time. So we've got a lot of recordings of those trainings as well. So that's kind of our wrap up. I mean, we just kind of like to remind you, you know, that EXP is the fastest growing real estate brokerage on the planet. This kind of shows that trajectory from just when we've been at EXP from you know, the last few years and the growth that we've experienced since we came over. So pretty exciting. And then here's a couple of questions just to kind of ask yourself that I brought up briefly when we were talking about revenue share is, you know, look back and where was your business 5 years ago and where is it now? And did you accomplish your goals? Did you set any goals? And did you do the things that it took to actually accomplish them? Are you where you want to be? If not, and you're envisioning a future that's better than today, you have a plan. What are you doing? Be strategic about it. So think about these things. And if you don't have the tools and the resources of the brokerage you're at to accomplish those goals, that might be something that you're missing. And if you implemented some of these things that we've been talking about into your brokerage, how would your business change? But more importantly, how would your life change? And I guess even more importantly than that, whose lives could you change by impacting their future? I love that part the most. I started out with saying, you know, I feel guilty for not sharing this more. And it's true. The guilt is like, man, I have something really amazing that I'm benefiting from. And some of my friends don't even know about it. So if they find out about it next year, they're going to say, you son of a bitch. They're going to say, why didn't you tell me? They're going to be mad at me. And so I'm going to try and avoid that.
I love that too. And I love this, like, where are you going to be in the next 10 years? So if you're planning on quitting real estate in the next month or two, don't worry about anything we just said. But if you're let's say in the next 10 years, let's say in the next 10 years, you're planning on selling 30 houses a year for the next 10 years. That's kind of your plan. You can do that wherever you are, right? But if you were with EXP over the next 10 years and you sold 30 homes, you would be getting all of your cap back in stock. So you can calculate 16,000 times 10 years, $160,000 worth of EXPI stock is now in your account instead of going to your old brokerage just to pay for the old, you know, the old fashioned model. And who knows what that stock's going to be in, you know, when it comes to retirement.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to look back on what it was when we started and what it is now and speculate what it might be as EXP continues to grow. So one last thing and then we're done, and then we're gonna have some lunch here in person. Thank you, Tommy. But you were the one delivering it here, Tommy. We talked a little bit about what you were on. That's Corey's superstar right there. Yeah. She's like, quit, stop. We all know it's true. We had kind of talked internally with some of the agents on my team. Everybody here's been talking about this project I got going on in my house, and some of you have seen it, but we're almost done, but we're done enough that we want to invite everybody that participated in today's class to our home.
And on Zoom.
And on Zoom, if you're attending on Zoom. So we have a pretty incredible pool in the backyard that we want to invite you guys to.
The slide deck on the pool.
Yes, yeah,
There
actually,
is a pool there if you look hard enough.
actually just added this in there. Yeah, there is a pool in there. Should have the waterfall going with us, telling Eric earlier. But we'll send you out details if that's something you want to participate in, you know, bring the littles and throw them in the pool, let them jump off the cliff. We'll get together and have some fun.
So that's 1 to 5.
Yes, yeah, it's on 1 to 5 this coming Saturday, the 9th. If you're interested in that, make sure we connect. I'll reach out to you anyway. That's all we got. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Eric. See you soon.
Hey, before you guys spread out, can I get a picture of you three?
Okay.
Me?
Hi, Kim. We're gonna shut off Zoom now, so you don't get
Can I say something before, is there anyone that's not on our team? Okay, so what I'd like to do, if we can, is just get feedback from everybody on this. Since we have team members on there, since this is the first time we've come together.
I think it was great, but yeah, I want more people there.
Sure.
Oh, Eric, sorry about
Hey, everybody. I was just thinking maybe just getting feedback from everybody that's in here, because most of the people are on our team, on what they thought about the presentation. Did we have enough energy? What can we do better? For me, I would really like to see how EXP has impacted some of the people in our groups. I know how much it's immensely changed my business, especially, you know, I'm sitting here and I get a message from an EXP agent. I don't remember where he's from, but saying, hey, do you want a referral for a seller in Lake? I just got that right now, and that's been happening to me all year. So if we open up our mind, all the possibilities, because EXP has way more than a normal brokerage has, to the different ways that we can get business, whether it's, you know, networking with other people, networking with people that are better than us, or even the workplace, watching people looking for referrals. I just feel like it would, us sharing, it kind of opens everyone's mind to all the possibilities, because when you're, oh, can you hear me? Okay, with a normal brokerage, we've got a one-way street, right? We're buying and selling. That's what we have with Keller Williams. With this, there's such a massive overload of different ways that we can get business that we have to pick what that thing is. Like, you guys have seen less of me because I've been just really diving down and doing real estate, right? So I'm trying to hit my icon status because I want to show that it can be done. And I want to show you how I'm getting it done, because it's not just my SOI. I'm getting it from EXP referral. I've got one client that Ashley and I are taking care of that is 3 deals from an EXP referral from Vegas. So like, that's what's helping me hit icon. It's not just my normal business. It's this company. And I'm watching what has changed in Eric's life as him as an agent, and what he's done with his wife. And so there's just so much more to it than just the brokerage, is what I want to express. And so if we can incorporate that into our overviews, just maybe some people that have had a good experience or how it has changed them, that would be great. But just having feedback from you on how you liked their overview, I thought it was really amazing. I loved it. But if we need to put more emotion, if we need to add anything you think will be better, we're open to that feedback.
I think it was great. I can't see, I mean, the energy was there, the information was there. I think it was great. I don't know that I would change anything except filling the room.
Yeah, I know having you here would be amazing. Like, they've put a lot of effort into this. They're really excited about it. And they've also seen how it's changed, you know, the business that we're all doing, and just the collaboration within, you know,
our, I guess our family is what it is, our Limitless family.
Now, can you give your rev share to your kids like later on?
Yeah, that's.
It's billable, yes.
It helps you create that legacy that you.
I
that you
think
want.
that's a big thing.
Yeah, that is something to mention, for sure. There's so much available to share about EXP, to be honest. The hardest part for Eric and I. How long did we take?
12-15.
12-15.
Well, that's good.
So it was almost right on an hour after sponsor. Did it seem too long?
No, I don't think
For
No.
me, it didn't.
It seemed faster to me than,
Faster?
Yeah.
An hour. Good.
are you sure we started right at 11:15?
11:20.
11:20. So we were done in.
Prior, because it's 12:15 now.
Yeah.
So there, you guys are here to EXP know that there's so much depth and so much. What we want to convey is some excitement and some curiosity to look into it further, because we can't explain in detail all of those things, because we'll just lose people. Because that might not be something they were interested in. Oh, but when we hit this nerve over here, it's like, oh yeah, I really am interested in that. So it's an overview, and we want to go quick, we want to make the points, and we want to elicit that excitement and intrigue to where it's like, oh, I'm curious to know a little bit more about that, and then talk about their interests. Because in the past, when we're comparing it to previous performances, it's like, wow, kind of rambled on that one thing for a long time, talking about me personally.
Well,
So,
people like the personal stories, they like that part of it a lot,
Yeah.
because, but I think right now, because of the way the market is, everyone just wants to know, how can I get more business? How can I get more business? How can I get money, more money flowing? You know?
it's something that
Everybody wants to know, well, how can we get more business? I mean, like. That is awesome.
if you didn't hear that on Zoom, Eric's phone said, it's nice to be right. All right, guys,
I did that on purpose.
thank you for coming, and
Everyone wants to know how you can
again,
get more.
feedback would be nice. We may reach out to some of you on a future one and kind of pre-plan maybe a comment, a testimonial, or an experience or something, so we can have some more interaction. I do like that one. We can hear from other personalities. Then of course, when Lynn stood up here after, you're probably like, why wasn't she? Maybe we'll see.
Well, and that's what I was thinking, is like, if we mix things up and get some of us up that feel comfortable with doing some part, then it will be, I think it will be good for everyone to learn and participate that wants to.
Okay, Kathy, okay, Nate, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat somewhere.
See you guys.
Bye.
Well, you could even record someone's like, look, just be like, hey, you got